Okay, so hi Aaron, it's great to see you again, and I have a tax exemption question for you this evening.
All right, well, happy to be here.
So we have a client, and I'm writing a contract for them today, an offer contract, and the property has four tax exemptions on it. So it's got a homestead exemption, it has a senior exemption, it has a um, senior freeze exemption on it, and a disabled persons exemption on it. So we want that to carry forward for the time period that the other person lived there. How do we be sure that we can get that done?
So, a couple of things. Last year, about halfway through the year, the Illinois General Assembly, uh, passed a bill, and the governor signed it into law. The Illinois Real Property Disclosure was amended, and it amended did the owner of the home occupy the home for the last 12 months. The reason this is important is with the homestead exemption, if you live in the home and it's your primary principal residency, it's $6,000 off the basically assessed value. So you're not getting a $6,000 deduction on your taxes. You're getting a $6,000 off the assessed value, essentially, is what I call it. So if you're in a nutshell, if the county says your home is worth 300,000, they're essentially going to say you're paying taxes on 100,000. But if you have a $6,000 deduction, now you're going to pay taxes on $94,000. That's a huge thing. We want that deduction. So now, when the attorney is looking at that, they already know is somebody living there or not, and are they qualified for that? That exemption renews automatically. At the end of this segment, I'll talk about what your attorney should do for you if you're the buyer. So that's the first thing that automatically renews. The other exemptions, so the senior freeze and the senior exemption are totally different. Once you're 65, you'll qualify for the senior exemption, and that renews automatically. However, the senior freeze is totally different. That is based on age, obtaining the age of 65, and it's based on income. You can't make more, I believe, than $65,000. So with that being the case, not every senior will qualify for the freeze. With the freeze, that doesn't stop the tax rate from increasing. So the thing is, we can always fight with the government about the value of our home. What we cannot fight with the government about is the tax rate. So it will set into place the assessed value of your home at the time the freeze is granted. The freeze will need to be applied for every year because you have to recertify to the assessor's office, to the county, that you are entitled to the exemption and your income has not increased. There's another one called the deferral. We'll do a different segment about that because that can be a segment by itself. The disabled exemption, you have to apply for that every year because you have to show that you're still disabled and you're entitled to the exemption. And if memory serves me correct, because I don't have a lot of people that get this, it's 2,000 off the equalizer. So it's going to help you, but you need to recertify that you're entitled to that. I had one client in the 9 years I've been practicing law selling their home that had that exemption. The other exemption, which is huge for the segment of clients that we like to serve as well. We like all clients, but near and dear to my heart is and I'm sure it is yours as well, is the disabled veterans exemption. P-tax, it's a P-tax 342 form that you'll need. You'll need your DD 214 for veterans who are watching this. I'm sure they all know what that is. You need those documents. You have to be in the home on January 1st of the tax year. And what that will do, depending on what your rating is by the Department of Veterans Affairs, if you had a service-connected disability and you qualify, you could pay up to no property taxes. It will reduce the equalizer by up to $750,000 in value. If you're fortunate enough to buy $1 million home, $3 million, and there's $1 million there, we'll take off up to 750,000 off. But I don't know anybody who's bought that kind of money with that type of exemption. But if you are, then unfortunately you would have some taxes. For most of us, it's going to take off up to $750,000 and it equalizes as value. And you have to be rated at 70% or greater. So those in a nutshell are the exemptions that are available. And that one must also be renewed every year. So if you have more questions, give us a call and I can also help get those forms to you. as a practical pointer, what I like to do when I'm representing a buyer is there's a tax affidavit that I send to the seller's attorney. I will ask questions and I will check the Illinois real property disclosure. What I like about the imminent disclosure is the seller is signing. Either they've been in the home or they haven't. If we find out they lied, that's a real big legal problem for the seller. So if you do your due diligence, work with an attorney. There's certain questions I put into my modification letter to protect my clients. If you work with a good real estate attorney, they'll know what to do to make sure you're protected. The issue is if it's in Cook County, it's a totally different animal. The suburban counties, the collar counties of Cook County, a lot easier to work with if there's issues. And as a last point, I've had several clients contact me who have bought properties in Cook County. Magically, before the election, they had issues getting bills out. Their system didn't work. November 15th, the bills came out. And so there's the issue of double payments at closing. If you're experiencing this, give me a call. I'll help you figure that out, and we can work to hopefully get you a refund.
That's a lot.
There's a lot.
That's a lot, but I know it's really important that those tax exemptions carry forward because you're paying taxes in arrears. So we want to
Yes.
make sure that that's taken care of. Yeah. Well, great info. I really appreciate you, and we will see you again soon.
See you next time.